Hello and welcome to our what is it? Tuesday already? Tuesday's live stream. And my name is Carl Peterson. I'm Credit Suite's content and social media lead. As I was looking outside a couple days ago at the leaves changing for autumn, I was attempting to come up with the topic for today's live stream. And that's when I saw some, Halloween decorations at a few of my neighbors' houses, and it made me quietly ask, what is the big scary thing when it comes to business funding? And as I stood there in thought, trying to figure out what is that thing, what is the Halloween villain of business funding, I kind of came to the conclusion that a couple of things could get that title. So it's the week of Halloween, and I figured, you know what? We talk a lot about the positives of business credit and funding. Let's talk about the scary side, right? For the festivities this week, if you celebrate Halloween, I thought it'd be a fun themed stream, but also there are some scary, spooky sides to business funding. So today's topic and theme of all of that, and Halloween in just a few days, is the scary side of business funding, of funding your business. Of course, this theme is all in good fun, but the actual things we touch on are far from it sometimes. These are things that directly threaten your business from growing and could even potentially be the cause of having to close your doors, unfortunately. And even more of an unfortunate fact is that it happens all of the time for these exact things. So it is unfortunate, but not all of this is a negative thing, since, of course, I'm going to fill you in on how you could potentially avoid these big, spooky funding problems. So, before we continue, just a heads up, this is live. So, where's everybody tuning in from? Drop it in chat right now. I'll keep an eye on it over there as we continue. I may have to keep my responses far and wide simply because of time constraints, but please know that I do see them, and I'm so grateful that we're here at the same time to talk about this. So let's get started. So here's the scary side of funding your business. First thing I'm going to mention is something we call the debt trap. Okay. This is when a business owner is basically just in this endless cycle of debt that you cannot escape from. Obviously, as a business owner, you simply just have to do what you have to do. And sometimes there's no way around that fact. And because of that, you could fall into this trap where you're just drowning in high interest and super unfavorable loan terms. So sure, they that may fix the issues for you today, but what about tomorrow? What about 6 months from now? So while you're in this cycle, you are simply just putting funding band-aids on the issue. It doesn't go away forever. It's just simply less loud today. And again, I get it. You got to do what you have to do sometimes as a business owner, but I will never understand doing something like this when you are in the opportunity to make it avoidable. So to start off this list is the very spooky debt trap. Ooh. Next is what we call personal financial checkmate, which basically just means when a business owner is using their personal credit and their personal bank account or personal funds, however that looks, to directly fund an aspect or all of their business. You will eventually hit a moment where that is no longer sustainable. It's just a thing. It happens, and it's going to happen, and it may be a very long way down the road, but it will happen. This is personal financial checkmate. So we often mention this as one of, I'd say, the top three reasons why business credit is a must, right? The goal should be separating yourself from your business as quickly and early as possible, which isn't hard to do whatsoever. So that's the positive there. You need to get a separate bank account. You need to get a business phone number. You need to establish your business. You need to get an EIN, and so on and so on. And this will give a separate life to your business by itself, completely separating you. And then in turn, you can begin building business credit and stop any sort of financial checkmates that are right around the corner when you are directly funding your business yourself and using your personal credit to fund your business. That's a big no-no. We talk about it all the time. If it's avoidable, avoid it. If it's not avoidable, again, you got to do what you have to do. But if you're in a position where you can't avoid it, avoid it. Next, let's talk about one of the scariest things of them all, which is scams, right? Unfortunately, the financial world is full of scams and full of bad actors, which on the surface, this makes complete sense on why it's such a huge problem in the financial world. You have to provide your personal information. You have to sign legally binding documentation. It's easy to hide clauses or fine print sections in a giant stack of papers for your contract. I can go on and on and on. And frankly, this stinks. This stinks that it's so common. I mentioned my role with Credit Suite as the content and social media lead. I'm certain that there hasn't been a single comment left on any of our social media accounts in the last year plus that I have not seen. Okay. A comment that comes in randomly at least once a week, left somewhere on our socials. Typically, paid ads is where I see this because that's we pay money to be in front of people that may not be familiar with us already, right? That's the point of a paid ad. So someone will simply just write on some of these scam on the post without actually looking into absolutely anything we offer or know anything about us, but they see 5 seconds of an ad talking about business credit or funding, and immediate red flags start to go off in their mind. Now, I need to be honest when I say, even if it's often kind of frustrating to see from my own perspective, because I know all the facts, and I truthfully can't be too upset with that because it's also very realistic into how the average person looks at anything financial related. So it's kind of like, from my perspective, yeah, that stinks to see because they're obviously not doing a simple Google search to see, oh, this is a legitimate thing. But at the same time, I understand why just the very ground level, they see funding, they see business credit ads, and they immediately say, that's a red flag without looking into any of it. So I can't be too mad about it because it does make sense. And that's how closely scams are associated with the industry across the board, right? It's very telling. So make sure you always take the time to do the research and the credibility checks before signing anything. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, or this is not financial advice. I'm not an accountant, but just kind of, this is a common sense courtesy suggestion to always take the time to do your research and do your credibility checks. Additionally, stay alert when it comes to these red flags or these kind of too good to be true funding offers. Now, obviously, not everyone that has really great terms is scamming you, but scams are a very scary side to funding that you unfortunately have to cross paths with every once in a while. And that's not fair, and that is unfortunate, but it's just par for the course, unfortunately, when it comes to financial world. You have to figure out who's a bad actor and who's a legitimate source of something you can get funding from. So be ready when that time comes. And then lastly, flew through this, my goodness. And then lastly, another scary side of funding is the pressure of repayment. Okay, I'm sure many of you can relate. So there is absolutely good debt and there's absolutely bad debt, right? We've had videos on our YouTube about this. We've had dedicated multiple of these streams on the very topic. The word debt can automatically be perceived as a negative because the very word means you owe someone something, right? The very surface level meaning of the word debt means you owe someone something. So yeah, there with good debt, you owe someone something, but you're able to actually outpace any sort of concerns on the repayment because the good debt could be in the form of business credit where you just turned around and 10x your monthly profits in a snap. So why is that a concern? That's good debt. That's a positive. That's contributing directly towards your profit, towards your cash flow, no problem. Bad debt is the complete opposite, right? So this is when you owe someone something and it's noticeably hurting your cash flow or setting back any sort of goals you might have. Sometimes as a business owner, you don't have a choice and you're just trying to make it to Friday. Seriously, I get it. But that pressure lurking over your head with the amount of kind of creeping due date, excuse me, is a very, very scary side of funding your business. But it doesn't have to be like this. The point of today's stream is in no way an attempt to discourage you from getting funding. It's actually the complete opposite. There will always be pros and there will always be cons with pretty much pretty much everything in life, right? I was going to say originally as a business owner or getting funding, but pretty much everything in life has a pro and con. And this stays very true as a business owner. And this also stays very true as someone attempting to get funding. And also very true for a business owner attempting to get business funding. There's pros and cons to it, right? But if you take the right steps as soon as possible and as early as possible, you get to set yourself up for long-term success. And then these negatives, these scary things that pop up slowly start to kind of drift into the background of your concerns, of your worries, slowly kind of drift away. So, can getting funding be scary? Yeah, of course it can. But does it have to be? Not even close. Your very first step to making sure you're on this correct path begins with what we call fundability, right? If this is your first time tuning into one of our streams, this might be a new term. If it's not your first time, welcome back, one. But then two, fundability is something we talk about a lot. Last week, actually, I introduced a brand new tool that I announced live on stream for the very first time ever on socials, and we call it the Fundability Scan. It's something the team has worked tremendously hard on getting right for you, and we are absolutely beyond thrilled that it is officially released. So the Fundability Scan and why you need to know about it, it shows your potential red flags and what lenders see about you in only 60 seconds. That's not a marketing term. When I say only 60, it will literally only take you 1 minute to do this. And this isn't some sort of like generally speaking sort of tool where it like, well, generally speaking, red flags could look like this. No, this is literally about your business specifically, and it will reveal very, very, very hyper relevant information surrounding your business and these potential red flags that lenders might see. And there may be none, which is extremely exciting, but it's great to find out that now before wasting any time on lender applications and getting denials. You can do your 60-second scan. This is the magic link of the day at fundabilityscan.com. It's not hard. That's not hard to forget, right? Fundability Scan, self-explanatory. It's fundabilityscan.com. Additionally, before you go, before I go, rather, you have before we mutually depart this stream, you have to know that we are currently on day 2 of our incredibly exciting free 3-day live event that teaches you how to build business credit and gives you the exact roadmap to high funding options. It may be on day 2. You may have missed day 1, but you are not too late. You can still sign up and hop into our live stream and also join our exclusive community while you're at it that goes along with it. You can sign up at businesscreditbuildingchallenge.com. Again, that is businesscreditbuildingchallenge.com. I'm heading into that live event right now, so I hope to see you there. If you decide to sign up and you join that event, make sure to say hi to me in chat and tell me that you're coming over from the social stream. That would literally make my day. Again, that is businesscreditbuildingchallenge.com, and that 60-second fundability scan is simply just fundabilityscan.com. fundabilityscan.com. Bility scan.com. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I sure do hope that you got some value from this. Make sure to like or subscribe on whatever platform you're watching me on right now for daily content and twice a week live streams just like this one. I'll see you again on Thursday for our very next one. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your few days, and I'll also be hopefully seeing you in the Business Credit Building Challenge in the next